Well, indeed, interesting developments here on matters land. And talking about land, we want to get into another interesting conversation on organic farming. And right now we are joined by the Executive Director of BioVision Africa, and that is Dr. David Amudavi. And quite an honor to host you, Dr. And looking at issues to do with organic farming, ideally most governments promote conventional farming. Where is Kenya right now when it comes to adoption and practice of organic farming?
Thank you again. First, I want to thank you for inviting me to KTN station to talk about organic agriculture in this country. It's a great pleasure, and especially coming towards the end of the year. It is true that our government focuses a lot on conventional or industrial agriculture. And the space for organic farming has been very limited. But the trend globally, and even in the continent and in Kenya, is showing that there is now a greater focus on organic farming for very good reasons. One, research has also demonstrated very well that organic farming can contribute to increased yields and at lower costs of inputs of production. So you don't have to spend a lot of externally purchased inputs. Two, organic farming has also shown that it can improve soil fertility, enhance water retention, and also reduce climatic stress on crops. And that's a very important contribution towards climate change mitigation and adaptation.
And of course, just for the sake of our viewers, how do we describe or demystify organic farming in a simple way that we can be able to explain to a 2-year-old?
Organic farming is the true type of farming that has sustained us for many years. It is the type of farming that relies on natural processes, natural inputs, and being conscious about the environment that you operate your agriculture. Because if you don't look after your environment, the environment can turn against you. And that is the basis of organic farming. Using as much as you can what is within your system, your inputs that are very much within your farming system. And that way, you produce in a healthy way, you produce in a more dependable way, and also organic farming has the element of having a diversity of enterprises. And that helps families to smoothen their consumption. There is no time you'll find families going hungry. Many families go hungry today is because they focus on one type of crop. In many cases in this country, it's maize. It's maize, maize, maize. Even when people have eaten something else in the evening apart from maize, they'll say we didn't eat, when actually they ate an alternative. And that is the thing that also we need to change in the mindset of our people. We can eat in a healthy way by diversifying what we eat, eating a range of clothes, a range of foods. And this is where organic farming becomes very important.
All right. And this conversation is timely because Kenya as a country has gone through a very turbulent year when we did see the drought, which affected food production in many parts of the country. It led to loss of livestock in northern Kenya and also eastern part of Kenya. And looking at this practice that your organization has been trying to champion, where we're talking about organic farming as a sustainable way towards food production. Let's expand this conversation and look at right now, organic farming has been considered not to be a better option for the simple reason that the narrative being peddled out there is that when you go towards the genetically modified kind of approach towards farming, you are able to increase productivity and vis-a-vis organic farming. Help us demystify and debunk the myth.
Good question again. In fact, that is very true. And for a long time and for many years, there are those who believe that conventional agriculture has been the way to go. But this has not been shown to be the case. Right from the time of the 60s, the 70s, with the Green Revolution in Southeast Asia, where governments were spending a lot of money doing research on monocrops, cereals like rice, wheat, and it was found not to be sustainable. And again, if you look at conventional agriculture and industrial agriculture, there are a lot of multinational organizations that put in a lot of money in research and promotion. And in the process, organic farming is made to look like it's an inferior, primitive type of farming, when it is actually the opposite. I was in India last month attending the Organic World Congress, and one of the states of India, Kesikem, the whole state has adopted organic farming. The premier of the state actually came and talked to the conference that had over 500 people to show how that state of India has really relied on organic farming. The farmers who are there showing the varieties that have been in existence for many years. They have a lot of vigor, vitality, and very resistant. And coming to the question of how resilience becomes very important in organic farming, research has also shown that crops that have undergone research in organic farming are able to sustain more climatic stress more than the conventionally grown crops.
All right.
In fact, if you have a case where there is a drought, you'll find that the farmers who have tried to use organic farming tend to smoothen their consumption much more than those who rely on conventional agriculture that uses heavy use of chemicals, insecticides, and pesticides, which actually are also very harmful to the health of farm families.
All right. And finally, as we wrap up the conversation, as BioVision Africa, what have been some of the milestones you can say you've been able to achieve, and what's the way forward moving the agenda for organic farming?
Again, that's a very good question. BioVision Africa Trust has been very instrumental in supporting dissemination of information on organic farming to over 13 counties in this country. Machakos is one of them, Muranga, Kakamega, Bungoma, Kirinyaga, Kisii, to name quite a few. And we do this through our farmer communication program, which we also work very closely with our Minister of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. We produce a monthly magazine for farmers in this country called the Organic Farmer Magazine. Every month we produce over 4,000 copies, distributed to over 250 farmer groups. We also run a radio program, which is aired on KBC, called Kilimo High. And this radio program is aired on Fridays and Thursdays. The Thursday one is for Mbaitu FM station, but the Friday one is for Swahili, so all farmers get to know about it.
Sure.
We also run outreach centers in the 13 counties, and we hope to grow, where we train farmers on organic methods, organic technologies, and also issues of value addition, because organic farming also presses a lot on how we can deal with post-harvest losses, deal with storage. Recently, one of our programs in video production won a media award on food sustainability. And we had this received in Milan, one of my colleagues who went to receive on our behalf.
All right.
And it shows how we can stop losses in mangoes and increase the value chain and increase the value for farmers and therefore money into the pockets of the farmers.
Interesting.
And BioVision Africa Trust will continue to do this, working very closely with the government to see how we can have appropriate policies and programs that can support organic farming. Globally, it's now the way to go. And that's why you find many people, even in Western countries, would prefer to eat organic food and not conventional food, because it is the healthy way. First, as we know, your health is your first wealth.
Sure.
And organic produce, nutrition and food security can guarantee a prolonged health for all of us.
Interesting.
For the under-olds, the 5-year-olds and below, I can tell you again, if we can get them feed more on diversified nutrition, which organic farming provides, we can actually be having a more healthy young generation that can take over when we go. And finally, BioVision Africa Trust believes that the way we handle our environment today, our natural resources, is very important that we bequeath the same resources, the same benefits to the future generations. So the way we handle our resources, we should be conscious that it's important that our future generations also need to enjoy, just as we are enjoying.
Correct.
And these are some of the fundamental principles we follow and organic farming. And also as guided by the International Organic Federation of Organic Movements, for which I was very lucky last month to be elected to be a member of the World Board of 10 members, and I represent Africa. And one of the initiatives that we support is the ecological organic agriculture, supported by the heads of states and government of the African Union.
Sure.
And we hope through this program, we'll spread it in West Africa, East Africa, Southern Africa, and the rest of this continent. And that is what we believe that BioVision Africa can make a contribution to, working with partners and working with the Kenyan government.
We definitely are proud of the great achievements. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
It's been nice to have you in this station.
All right.
And I want just to wish all Kenyans a very happy Christmas.
All right.
And Happy New Year. And eat organic, because when you eat organic, then you also have a healthy life and a prolonged one for that matter.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
That has been Dr. David Amudavi, the Executive Director at Biovision Africa Trust, just trying to debunk the myths around organic farming and conventional farming. He's stressing that you need to go the organic way for a healthier and food secure Kenya. We take a quick commercial break. More news coming up after the break.